Hello and welcome back to Shimrath Plays Caves of Qud. Oyun the Axe Marauder has made his way to the 6-day stilt, turned in a bunch of books to the library, gained a level as a result of the tales he heard from the librarian, and wandered around the stilt grounds looking at all the various shop signs to see what types of items are available here. So now it is time to go shopping. You can see at the top of the screen here in blue watery letters is our water value. We have 313 drams of water in all of our various water containers. We have also some other trade goods, so we're worth a little bit more than that amount, and that basically is the amount of money we'll be able to spend here on various items that we might need. How will we know what items we need? Well, we'll probably go to our character sheet. Worth noting here before we move on is that I have 224 skill points and an attribute point to spend, which we probably want to do before we head back out into the dangerous lands surrounding the 6-day stilt. More than likely that attribute point is just going to get dropped into strength because we want to get to a 29 eventually for the highest tier power in the axe skill tree. And then the skill points, there are a couple of options which we can think about, but I think I'd like to go shopping perhaps first. So let's look at our current equipment. We have studded leather armor, which provides 3 armor value. We have a very nice helm made of fullerite. That's a very nice helmet on our head. We're not wearing anything on our face in particular. Worn around our wings, in other words, kind of on our back, is an Isakari banner. Right arm sports a wooden buckler. And then, of course, we have wax flab growing on our right hand, rendering it completely useless. But luckily, our left hand has our two-handed steel battle axe, and it's being held by our second left hand, which we grew as a result of a mutation. On our left arm, we have a bioscanning bracelet, which you might note the chem cell has drained, so that thing's not working until we recharge the battery. So getting the battery recharged is something we might want to make a note and do. There is a notepad in front of me here in real life, and I'm going to write down recharge battery so that we don't forget to do it. We also have our laser rifle, which has a full chem cell in it, and we have Sandals of the River Wives, which give us a little bit extra movement. We're not holding currently any thrown weapon, although we do have some grenades. They're just not ready to go, and we don't have anything floating nearby. We don't need like a glow sphere or something like that to float nearby, but if we could find an item called a hover sled to float nearby us, we could essentially load equipment and stuff onto it and increase the amount that we can carry. So looking over this, just get an idea of what we have, right? So that we know while we're shopping what we're going to compare that stuff to, right? So like one of the things that kind of stands out is what, our studded leather, the Isakari banner, and the wooden buckler, and the sandals are all items that could provide additional armor to our character that could provide some, but maybe not potentially the best amount of armor now. So those are all things that we can upgrade. And then in our inventory, I don't know if it's important to go over this, probably not. We just have various stuff that we should be getting rid of. We have the folded carbide battle axe, which we were wielding, and it has the potential for a greater level of penetration based on our strength, which is why we're hanging on to it. We also might want to try to get a very good shield to wield in our second left hand, and then go back to this folded carbide one-handed battle axe, just because we'll be better fortified armor-wise if that's the case. And that's it. One of the things I notice here is that we have a bunch of different water skins that we got from the honey bear that contain a little bit of honey each. What I'm going to do I'm going to pause recording here, and I'm just going to consolidate these down into a single or more water skins, a couple or few honey skins that we can then sell. because we don't really need multiple skins with a little bit of honey in it. So stand by. All right, now that we're done with that, basically the way we did that, I guess I could have walked through one, is you can select any one of these items. I can select this water skin and say pour. And you have options. Pour it onto yourself. This is good if you're on fire. You can pour water onto yourself or a liquid onto yourself. Pour it nearby if you just want to pour it out on the ground, or pour it into another container, and I did select that. It comes up with a list of places where you can pour it. For example, I could throw it all into this other water skin. You can denote the amount and then hit enter, and then bada boom, I've transferred my 20 drams of cider from one water skin into another. So now I have a full water skin of honey, which I'm going to sell, and then one with 41 drams, which is not completely full, but still good. So the wine, the honey, and the other honey, and maybe even the cider are all things that I can just sell in the process of shopping here. All right, so where should we go first? Let's go ahead and walk into the bushes and start bleeding. And then after that, I think Oyun likes to get super bloody. Probably walks through these thorny bushes, and then in order to look more intimidating, he just rubs his own blood all over himself, and then wanders into the village to shop. So let's talk to various folks. I think this is, yeah, this is not actually, this is like an inn or a tavern. I don't think you can, there isn't a merchant inside there, although there are NPCs that you could probably talk to and trade with. This, I believe, is an armorer. So we will go in and talk to him first and see what we're looking at. Real quick again, I'm going to look at my equipment just to remind myself. I have studded leather armor, which is 3, -2. I have a fullerite armet, which armet I'm sure is some sort of helmet. Let's look at it. It probably describes what that means right inside it. A dark visored helmet made of jet black fullerite. So it's like some kind of futuristic headwear. Isakari banner 01, wooden buckler 1. So hopefully here we're looking for shields and better armor, perhaps. All right, let's chat with the armorer. Let's trade. Okay, he has these armors and these things. Now, one of the things I see is a bronze ingot. Bronze ingot weighs 20 pounds, and it's worth 100 drams of water. Compare that to like the copper nuggets I'm carrying around, 1 pound, and they weigh 10 gold. So what is this? If I had 10 nuggets, so a bronze ingot is actually by price heavier than carrying around a bunch of copper nuggets, I think, if my math is not terrible. It does not look like there's any armor here for sale that's better than my studded leather, right? I have 3 -2 on my studded leather. The highest armor here is 2. So we're gonna bid, and also let's trade again. No shields that I can see here on the list. Pocketed vests, tunics. Honestly, one of these tunics might do us good. The Isakari banner that I'm wearing currently doesn't have any armor value. A vine weave tunic might actually be better because it has armor value. So let's see, let's look at it. Swaddled in green growth, its wearer becomes another country cloaked and time-eaten statue. +2 dodge value when occupying the same tile as foliage. Well, that's a neat thing, but it also does have a higher value than my other thing. We're going to keep that, we're going to note that, because we want to see everything we can buy before we start spending money, because we want to buy the most important things first and then go. Now, we have a laser pistol, so to be honest, I don't think we need to talk to the gunsmith, right? As long as I can keep my batteries charged, I think it'd probably be better to shoot things with laser than with guns. So we'll come back to him. This person is selling probably foodstuffs and things. Yeah. Nothing sadder than a cook fire and nothing to cook over it. So yeah, all kinds of different preserved things. Now, the character we're dealing with doesn't particularly eat anything except for the severed limbs of his opponents. So he doesn't need to have a bunch of various ingredients to cook. Although cooking is a very large part of this game. If you take the proper skills to make meals, you can learn to create meals that give you mutations for a day or give you special benefits and stuff like that for a day. One of the things I could do here is sell the cider, the honey, and the wine, but I may as well wait and use them as currency in the place where I'm actually going to buy something expensive, right? So, there we go. Let us head over to this one, I think. Okay, there's a big battle going on, and this is actually kind of good. Oh, Yoon's going to go over and watch. Apparently, somebody got their, I guess, knickers in a bunch, and now there's a fight going on. It looks like, actually, the rams, let me look. Yeah, these goats escaped from the farm and started attacking people. So I don't know how the trouble started, but everywhere on screen where you see a spatter of blood is potentially a place where we can like get the stuff of the people who died. So I'm gonna get in this square. That's a mirthworm corpse. Same here. Okay, so unfortunately these are not creatures that were carrying items that died, but there's another splat here, which is a mirthworm corpse. That one has a force field around it currently, but I think it should expire at some point. I'm gonna look and see if it's another yeah, it is another mirthwood corpse. I guess that's a leech. Mirthwood corpse. Okay, well, we didn't get as lucky as we thought. I was hoping that some heavy-duty NPCs got in a fight with one another and murdered each other, and that we would be able to harvest all of their things. But it looks like just their minions ended up getting killed. So I think probably in the end, oh, there's a copper nugget, so we'll at least pick that up, and then we'll watch what's going on here. Alright, they don't want to fight with us, but there seems to be a fight going on. I think in the end we're just going to end up with dead goats, and these NPCs aren't particularly going to be anything that we can benefit from. Apparently I did not pick up the copper nugget, and since it is free money, we're going to go ahead and head back down and get it. So yeah, somebody left their stuff here. May as well go ahead and pick up the cloth robe and the leather boots since I'm actually here and shopping. It's easy enough to get rid of this stuff. I kind of want to talk to that guy who's running from the goats right now, because I'm pretty sure this is his shop, and what I want to buy from him are files. I'll tell you why in a second. Maybe we can just go down here and interrupt his fighting. Boy, these goats are just terrorizing the population. Okay, and he's headed back towards his shop. It looks like the goat herder finally killed his own goats, and actually I can go over here and eat it since I'm hungry. Oh, I butchered it. Go into my inventory and oh, okay. So we did get some stuff. We auto picked up some things that were on the ground that I didn't notice until it was too late. But we have raw goat meat now, so let's go ahead and eat that raw goat meat right in front of these villagers to just let them know who Oyun is, what kind of person he is. All right, we are probably not hungry anymore, but we do have these weird artifacts now. So we found a small turquoise tube that we probably picked up off the ground from one of those splatted people. It may have been the village apothecary that got killed, because he was running around and then I didn't see him on the map after that. So let's examine this tube. This is a salve injector. Salve injector, if we look at it, tells you that for 5 rounds, it's a slender metal tube used to deliver various tonics directly into the bloodstream. For 5 rounds, you recover a 0.6 hit points per level, minimum of 3 each round. This item is a tonic. Applying one tonic while under the effects of another may produce undesired results. So this is a good way to heal, besides eating witch bark. And potentially getting confused. So these two artifacts might be identical, but let's go ahead and see if we can figure out what they do. I make some progress in understanding the spray bottle. So I think for sure it was the apothecary who died, because they generally sell spray bottles. Now, I'm going to keep one of these spray bottles because a spray bottle is one of the 3 things that you need in order to cure yourself of any fungal infection, like our wax flab. So once I figure out what to put in the spray bottle, it can be, this is the applicator that allows me to heal myself. So we know now that the salt stilt apothecary is dead. He's been killed by goats, apparently. That's okay. What we are going to talk to this guy. Let's trade. First thing we're going to do is look at anything that's engraved or painted in his inventory and see what we can learn. Oh, this is a good one. So, this is an engraved glass bottle of acid, the vessel of exquisitely blown glass. Its style hints that it originates from the coast of Fuming God Sea on the far side of Mograyi, and that it was likely exported by the Dromats. It tells you what acid does, and it also tells you that it's engraved with a scene from the life of the ancient Sultan Dariuhum I. While traveling through Sashur, Dariuhum stopped at a market in Tapad Spire. At an obscure shop, he purchased a briny floating orb named Brinoka Dariuhum Friend. Then he went to a nearby tavern and lost Brinoka Dariuhum Friend in a foolhardy bet. He cursed the tavern and left Tapad Spire. You have received a new quest. Recover Brinoka Dariuhum Friend. You note this piece of information in your journal. Alright, so that's why you look at everything that's painted. It's kind of good to look at lots of stuff. I'm going to buy all of these files, and I'll tell you why. Because we have seen a lava weep, right? Back at home in Ikazokesh, there's at least one lava weep, and a file is the only thing heat resistant enough to carry lava, and lava is valuable. So we're going to get these. 15 drams of water, well spent. All right. And we are out of here. Thanks, Fluid Vendor. Sorry you got beat up by goats. Have a nice day. All right, over here, I believe, just give a quick look at these spats. That's a corpse of a worm, same thing. That's, I think probably that was the apothecary's place, and he is dead now, so we don't have to worry about buying any more witchwood bark. We'll go ahead and go here. This guy sells hats, I'm pretty sure. Now, on my head I have a Fullerite helmet. I think there's a very unlikely that he'll have anything better than that. He does have a painted item though, so we'll look at it. Okay, woolly. This item grants resistant to heat and cold, painted with the scene of the life from Dariuhum IV. While traveling through, this is another good one, while traveling through the gladiators' precinct of Kashur, Dariuhum IV stopped at a market in Tapad Moras. At an obscure shop, he purchased a briny bracelet and named it Brinicus Dariuhum Gift. Then he went to a nearby tavern and lost Brinicus Dariuhum Gift to a local thief. He cursed the tavern and left Tapad Moras. We now have a quest to recover Brinicus Dariuhum Gift. We noted in our journal. So, 2 new quests just from looking at stuff. None of these helmets provide anything over 1 armor, so we're just going to bid the hat maker farewell. Thanks for letting us look at his inventory. Here is a 2nd armor. So let's chat with him, see what he's got. Now, he does have a Puma chitin vest, which is expensive, but it has a 3 armor rating. It has 2 of these, as a matter of fact. Now, a vest, I think... This vest is cut from the chitinous exoskeleton molted by Cud's jungle puma. Thick, flexible rings, the color of tree bark, protect the torso of its wearer. Negative 200 reputation with cats because you're basically wearing their hide. Okay, so that may be a good replacement for the studded leather armor because it doesn't carry a penalty to dodge value. But you have to kind of weigh the value here. For 400... I'm eliminating some dodge value, and Um, let's look at our overall, yeah, our overall dodge value is 1. So it could get us to 6-3, I believe, if we were to do that. So it's, you know, if we've got an unlimited amount of money, we could do it, but we haven't carried an unlimited amount of money here with us. So this place is empty. This is another Kipper. I'm not going to shop, well, I am going to shop with her in case there's anything to look at as far as painted items and stuff like that. There's not. So instead I'm going to interact with this oven. In fact, you have the option to eat dried tonic or hot and spiny. I don't think I'm going to eat either one because I think that kind of food can make me sick if I'm a carnivore. Alright, so I think we continue to head north. We went to both of those? Yes. Alright. Okay, here is a tinkerer. So let's chat with him. Copper nuggets and data disks. We are not smart enough to use any of that stuff, so live and drink. Kind of go in, look around, and he realizes we're done and sends us on our way. This is a guy that has books. The interesting thing about that is with an unlimited amount of money, you could certainly spend it on books and then go turn them in for experience, but right now it's probably not the best plan. We would want to know if he has the book that it's called the Corpus something. I believe it's called the Corpus something, and that is the book that tells you how to get rid of your fungal infection. So we may have one in the library already, but I'm not positive. All right, remember, she sells jams and foods and stuff. So, and then here's another gunsmith. So we will go ahead and continue around until we find, you know, armorers and weapons people, and hopefully somebody with a really good shield, or the Dromad merchant when we finally get close enough to talk to them. So a lot of these people are not in their places. Instead, they're down here sleeping. So what you do is you interact with that person. This is the jeweler. We're going to wake him up, and then we're going to immediately chat with him and ask him to trade. Okay, he sells jewel encrusted things. He sells beaded bracelets, and then he sells these. So these are interesting because these are gemstones, and I feel like it might be a good idea. Oops. The 1,000 sun rays are refracted through the prism of small stone. I feel like this is very valuable items in a very small amount of weight. So it might be worth it to just go ahead and buy these. Basically turn some of our water into something a little lighter. We'll offer it up. 350. Let's see. Ooh. Offer. And oh, you don't have 350. In order to do that, we would have to sell some of this stuff. I bet we could. Those are 1 pound. Those are each 1 pound. We could go ahead and get rid of these. And the wine, that gets us to enough there. So let's offer that again, and now we'll pony up 154. Now we've got those things. So looking at them, yeah, these things, they weigh 1 pound and they're worth 100. This one weighs 1 pound and it's worth 150. So that's very lightweight money there. So I think that was a good thing to do. There's somebody else sleeping here, but I think it's just an apple merchant. It's a Vinter. So we don't need more wine. We just sold the wine that we had. And I don't think that, well, they may have empty water skins, but that's okay. We'll get them elsewhere. That's just another place to drink. This is another hat maker, but he's out sleeping somewhere too. Usually the folks who are sleeping are, here he comes. Hey, Hey, where you going? I want to buy something. Okay, let's trade. Yeah, this electric snail shell is the highest armor value and not as good as the helmet we have on. So, shopping. Shopping can be boring if you don't immediately run into a bunch of really good stuff. But can be vital to your survival that you find stuff that's good. There's one of the shopkeepers sleeping, but it's just a kipper. So again, more stuff. And that was a bookseller. So now we're headed down this way. Just cruising around the stilt grounds. And here are some folks. We're gonna look. Haberdasher. What's a haberdasher sell? That's a good question. And a kipper again, and then over here, apple merchant or something, a beekeeper. So that's who you would sell your honey to, or get honey from. Let's go ahead and wake up the haberdasher to figure out what exactly they sell. They sell clothes and things, right? Burnous cloak, Sakari banners, a grassy Yermat, 01. Alright. Nothing in particular that we need, though. Okay, so far our shopping trip has been a bit uneventful. That's the beekeeper sign. This is perhaps where the guy that sells the cloaks stays. And over here, oh, that's the cloaks. Now that we've woken him up, he's wandering around instead of sleeping. Alright, and here's another foodstuffs. Okay, so headed down again. There's a lot of drinking establishments here and not as many weapons and armor places, so looks like I never even explored this area over here. Alright, I think we've pretty much made a circuit. I believe the Dromad merchants are up here, though. That's who we'll go to next. Oh, no, Dromad merchant is inside. And they don't generally fall asleep, I don't think. So, here we go. You can ask a Dromad what kind of creature it is and have it, like, explain its sort of species to you, but I feel like it's rude, so I know what a Dromad is, so I don't ask. Let's trade. Okay. Let's trade. Okay, well, right here, first thing out of the bat, carbide plate armor, 5, -5. That's, an armor value of 5 is about as good as it's gonna get. I think we should buy that. That's a huge reduction to your dodge value, but our character right now is at 6-1, and I don't think we rely much on dodging out of the way. I think we just take the hit and let our armor absorb it. So we have to come up with 542, and we may or may not be able to hit that point just yet. Unfortunately, by the time we travel down and collect a bunch of water and lava and come back here, the merchants, their inventory resets itself. Like, they restock, so things go away and new stuff comes in. So if you can't get it now, you might not be able to get it later. Ring mail is the same as the armor we're currently wearing. So I feel like this is what we should be trying to buy. Grit Gate Recoiler. We already have one. Yeah, okay. Let's see what we can do. It is, once again, 542. Let's see if we can do it. We're only going to need one spray bottle when the time comes. This is stuff we picked up off the ground, including these. We will try to keep our chem cells if we can. As far as food goes, let's be honest, we don't really need any of it. Humble pie, where did I get that? Seasoning the minced meat that's trapped under the crust is a smidge of Yfer dust shaved from the stalk of the eponymous mushroom and finely ground. The whole mushroom is much too powerful for a mammalian psyche. Consuming one would obliterate the ego in mere moments, but a smidge of dust on a tasty pie can remind one of one's place in the cosmos. When you eat these, your ego is reduced by one permanently. Probably don't want to eat those, but they're worth almost $9 a piece. These are very valuable horse shrooms, which have like help you be immune to cold and stuff like that. Get rid of the wine vapors, even though they're not worth anything. Always keep your witchwood bark because it can heal you. But we'll sell everything else. We may sell all of those grenades as well. The gaslight Flysa, I would need to take the chem cell out before I sell it, if I'm going to sell it. Salve injectors, shade injectors. Now let's look at the shade oil injector. It lasts for 41 to 50 rounds, gives us a +H dodge value. And there is, okay, it allows us to phase in and out. So those are useful. We probably won't get rid of it. These recoilers should probably hold on to. We could use our beaded bracelet, all of our copper stuff, our gemstones. So already we're at 671, right? Which means we have enough to do this. So let's hold on to this. That brings it to 521 plus 14. I'm looking at this as how much water we have. We're basically going to sell everything we have in order to do this. So go ahead and throw that. Maybe take that one off. It's definitely not enough. Put one instead. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's going to well, hold on. Let me offer and see what happens. I would have to pony up 671. Okay, so I would still have water to drink. Let's do it. You don't have enough water containers to carry that. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mark the armor. I was just basically saying, hey, can you just buy all this stuff from me? Let's go over here and mark the carbide plate armor and then offer again. Now, he'll have to give me 128. Let's say no. Now that we know it's 128, let's go ahead and mark this as 1 and keep one of these $100 gemstones. We'll offer again. Now he only has to give me 28. We'll say yes. Trade complete. All right. Good deal, good deal. Also, remember, we came for water skins, so let's go ahead and buy all of these. 58, yes, we'll do that. And we'll go ahead and say thanks. Okay, so that was our big purchase. We bought really tough armor. So let's look at our armor value of 6, dodge value of 1. Then we'll go to our inventory and we will equip our plate armor, which means we take off our studded leather armor. And now we go back and we have 8, -2. So we lost dodge value, but we increased our armor value. Cool, and we still have 110. 110, so I think if my memory serves me correctly, we can head back over here and talk to the armorer at the east edge and get that vine weave tunic. Oh, +2. So it's worth 1. So 1 and 2 for the armor value. But if you're in the same tile as foliage, that dodge value goes to 4 instead of 2. Let's go ahead and buy that as well. I'll have to pony up 15 and I have 110. Let's do it. Trade complete. All right, now live and drink armor smith. Also, go to our inventory, take the vine weave tunic and equip it. Oh, well, that was a mistake. I thought that the tunic was a neck slot, a back slot, like my Isakari banner. I thought it was like a, yeah, tunic. Tunic is not a cloak, right? Tunic is something different. So unfortunately, shouldn't have spent that money, but we have a whole layer full of money, so we're not really worried about it. Let's re-equip the carbide plate armor. There we go. And then let us chat with this guy one more time and just sell the stuff we can't use. We can't use that. We just bought this from you and we lost $13, but we want to go ahead and sell it back. And that, I think, is it. Yep. We'll go ahead and offer that to you, and we'll get 3 drams of water, and we'll be done. Now, we have a total of 98, and if we were to throw our gemstones in 100, that's basically it. We basically have about 198, 200 gold. We wanted to get our batteries recharged, so I am going to travel over to where the Tinker is, because he can recharge the battery for us. Yeah, so here's the Tinker. We're going to ask him to trade, but what we're going to do is we're going to go over here, and I believe if I push space, yeah, he can recharge it for me. He can also identify things for me. If I have something I don't know what it does, I can pay him to identify. I'm going to ask him to recharge. He says he'll do it for 18 drams of fresh water. I tell him, hey, that's a good deal. Now it's full. Now let's live and drink and go to our equipment, because we also have another one. We're going to replace the cell in the bioscanning bracelet and remove the one that's there. So we're going to basically, let's just swap it out with this combustion cell, which is, I think, what we intended to put into the thing in the first place. Oh my goodness. All right. And then we'll be done with that. Escape again and chat with him one more time, because now we have a drained chem cell that we can recharge. He'll do that for 20 drams of water. We tell him yes again. All right, now we're down to 60 drinkable units of water. You have to keep track. You always want to have some water currency on hand, because you have to drink it to stay alive, right? So don't forget that. Now we have 2 chem cells that we can use too. And then I believe this thing, the lightsaber, not lightsaber, also has a chem cell in it. All right. We are ready to go back out of the 6-day still and travel back home. All right, and we also have, not to forget, we have skill points and an attribute point to spend as well. So we're going to do that at the start of the next episode. All right, thank you for tuning in as always. Catch you in the next episode.